Hello, my name is Cassandra Rangel, and I am interviewing for a spot as a volunteer extension for the Peace Corps. So, question one asks, what is my greatest weakness? And for me personally, I think because the fact that I am such an introvert, it often takes over and I can come across as shy and I don't really get my point across as well, or it's either too late for my point to be taken into consideration. Question two, describe a situation where you came up with a creative solution to a problem. So for this question, I have selected my response to be in one of my A&P classes, we were doing models and we were given like a basic group of materials, and we needed to model the different tissue layers in the body, and we ran out of items by the time that we were halfway through. So my solution was, okay, think about the other materials that we have on our own person. So we used sticky notes to label pieces since they needed to be labeled, and I broke apart a piece of mechanical pencil and used the lead itself as pinpoints to stick the labels on, and I used the side embracings of the pencil as pieces of the layers themselves. Question three, tell me about a time you worked with a difficult person and how you worked through the situation. Me personally, just recently I encountered a group project and we were tasked with to write a paper for our business proposal, and we were in a group of 4. I was the only girl and I was with 3 other guys, and automatically they thought, okay, she's the leader, she's the one that's going to take charge, which I was eventually fine with that and I agreed. But then I was like, okay, we have to each carry our own weight. And there was one team member that just did not carry his weight at all. He slacked off until the week before the presentation was due, and I had to do his portion of the paper for himself, and he wasn't as much of a team player as the rest of us were. And I think that as a team, we all needed to have our fair share of work done, and he didn't. But in the end, I was like, okay, since we did all of this work, you get to pick up the end of the project and you can do some extra bits and bots that we needed to get done on the paper, such as like grammar and just reading through everything to make sure we had everything that needed to be done. So essentially, I was a bigger person in this situation. I was the team leader, and I made sure that everyone did do a fair share of work for this project. And in the end, we were able to get a good enough grade. I won't say I will work with this person in the future, but for now, I stepped up, I was the leader, I was a bigger person, and we were able to finish the paper strong. So the 2 questions that I have assigned for myself are, question 1 is, please tell me about an experience when you were able to transfer knowledge or skill to someone who was different than yourself. So for me, I like to say that I am a very knowledgeable person because I do know certain things. And for this instance, I said that we were randomly assigned a group to work with again, and I was teamed up for this project with a bunch of freshman male athletes, and me myself being a junior. We were just kind of just sitting there, not really knowing who was gonna step up or like take the initiative to start a discussion and see where we would start with our project. So we started, and this particular assignment that we were doing, there was a software that we were using, and these freshmen, they're just coming in, so they didn't really know how to use it. So I took the reins on this one a little bit, and I was like, okay, so I showed them how to set up a a file, and then we just shared that file within the group, and we opened a document, which then led us to a PowerPoint. And from that PowerPoint, we just started putting in all our information. But then I was like, wait a second, this would go a lot easier if I just showed y'all how to manage the files. And after I showed one person how to manage the files, he was like, okay, this isn't that bad. So then I showed the other two guys how to do it. And we all collectively got this group project done a lot faster than if I had to do everything myself. So the fact that I was able to show them something and now they can take it, and if they're working in different groups with other freshmen that don't really know this program as well, they can use the software and pass it on. And I was able to extend that olive branch, if you will, of my own wealth of knowledge that I have, having years of experience with this, that they don't. I was able to extend this little piece of information that I have to them. So for the second question, I have assigned for myself. Please, one second. It is, how would you benefit from this experience? So for me personally, I grew up in a small town, a very Christian Catholic, small cowboy country town. And I wasn't really as involved in other groups or activities due to the fact that we have experienced prior trauma before we were able to leave the house. Something violent happened, something very traumatic that really no kid should be able to see. And the fact that me and my siblings all experienced this, it kind of put my mom in like a defense mode, and she didn't really let us out of the house as much after this incident. We went to school and back. We had no extracurriculars. We had no really free time until we were about to go into high school. So what I have growing up experienced is what one would call a sheltered life. I don't really have as much experience in the real world as I would have liked to have by now. And I feel like this program, the mission that the Peace Corps has, resonates deep within me, because their mission is to go out to underdeveloped countries or just countries in general that need help, assistance with learning about like HIV, AIDS, different health benefits and programs that the youth can do, or even adults that they don't know. And if I go into this job opportunity, it would benefit me in more ways than one, which is very beneficial for me in the fact that I have not experienced a lot of real world scenarios and seen different cultures other than my own, which is pretty basic in the fact that, you know, men do most of the work and women are kind of just stay at home. And I want to be able to experience going to different countries and seeing the different cultures and how diverse all these cultures are, or how these countries run their government, or how the government runs them, and to see how women are treated and how the kids get treated, and see if how privileged life we have being in the United States, being able to go to different countries, especially ones that specifically for this job is in Slovenia, how they have just recently gone from being a communist community to not in the previous years. And that basically sums up. I feel like, you know, based off of my prior knowledge of, you know, being able to research the Peace Corps and what y'all stand for, I can be a very beneficial person to y'all, because I am young, I am eager to learn and teach other people based off of what I know, and using my degree, it can really benefit a lot of the people out there, especially in the more underdeveloped countries like in South Africa or in the lower part of South America that definitely needs help because they just don't have the resources or the knowledge in their areas. So for me to go into these countries and be able to extend what I know to them, and hopefully they can pass it on or talk to each other about it, it would be a life-changing opportunity, honestly, to be able to go to the Peace Corps and get to be an extension volunteer and be able to put what I know to the test, and for them to test me, and be for me to be experienced in these different cultures and how people see things. It would mean the world to me, honestly, and I hope you take this into consideration. um as I mentioned before, my name is Cassandra Rangel, and if you need to contact me, my email is crangel8258@gmail.com, or I can be reached by cell phone at 830-688-0298. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to hear back from y'all. Thank you. Bye.